Greetings, Dennis Fair, retired member of the Metropolitan Police Department that served 29 years uninterrupted service, retired June the 8th, 2019. The opinion and comments are entirely mine. I am not affiliated with any law enforcement agency, including the Metropolitan Police Department or anything of that nature. Happy holidays to everybody. I wanted to discuss some crime prevention techniques and go over some topics that just might help you or prevent you from being a victim of crime if you choose to go out Black Friday and engage in some of the shopping. Being that for the most part with COVID, no one was really able to shop like they really want to. This year, for the most part, everything is lifted and it's strictly uncut. So there's going to be some circumstances, unfortunately. It's going to be a whole lot of crime. And if you watch the news, it's already started. I'm just trying to give some people some heads up. If you know some of the things that I already that I'm going to talk about, that's cool. But if I speak on something that you haven't heard, give a thumbs up and forward it to somebody else, so maybe this can prevent them from being a victim. It might be some things you're already aware of, some of the things you may not be aware of. So I'm going to go over some topics. I've got a few things jotted down because if I don't, there's going to be something I'm going to forget. And I probably forget some stuff anyway. But off the break, I'll start off with high-end stores. A lot of individuals are going to go in high-end stores, your Gucci shop or your Apple phone store, things of this nature, and that's cool. But be aware of your surroundings, because a lot of times in these particular situations, you have individuals that pretty much stand outside of the store. That might be in a vehicle. They may just be standing there as if they're on the phone, and they may actually be on the phone while they're watching you. A lot of times, if you go in a Apple store and you come out with a fairly decent sized bag, most of the time it may involve a few phones or one phone. It's not going to basically be a bunch of chargers in most cases. Individuals often will take these items back to the vehicle, maybe put them under the seat or continue shopping. You're not going to really want to walk around the whole mall with that phone. Some people want to get rid of that immediately and come back and do a little more shopping. Or if you are on, for example, Apple store that's on Wisconsin Avenue, you have side streets that you may be parked on a side street. So you may want to take that side street. You got an individual that's already kind of following you and you don't even realize it, because as they following you, they're not on the same side of the street you on. They're on the other side of the street. So most people are not paying that attention. That's something you're not even thinking about. The individual's following you, and before you can get to your vehicle, once you get in the area where for the most part it's nobody, that individual crosses over. You never saw the individual coming, because a lot of times most people had their pods in their ears and things like that, which I recommend taking one out. And if you walk, and take one of them out so you can hear somebody walk up on you. Because if you're engaged in a conversation with the pods in your ear or listen to music, you'll never hear that individual coming. Whether they're going to snatch the bag or pull a gun on you. Obviously, if somebody pulls a gun on you, it's not a whole lot you could do in that case. But if you hear an individual walking up on you, it's something you could possibly do, or maybe cross over, or if you're paying a little more attention, you might notice this. But distracted, a lot of times you feel like it's daytime or what could happen, that's when it's going to happen. So be aware of your surroundings, but also take into consideration if you're in a high-end Gucci store or something like that. A lot of times it's not male. There might be some female or someone that you probably wouldn't even notice just standing out there, or that you might think this possibly getting ready to go in there and shop, but this individual's watching the females come out, what type of large bags they have. Obviously, you come out of the Gucci store or high-end store that sells high-end bags with a large bag. That's 9 times out of 10 you got a bag or a purse or something in that bag. These individuals will often follow you. Yeah, maybe you'll get into the vehicle. They'll follow you in that vehicle, and actually you may go to another store. Well, we know you're not going to take the Gucci bag out of the shopping bag that's in the trunk or in the back seat. You might put it under the seat. You'd be surprised. But the next thing you know, when you come back to that vehicle, the vehicle's broken into, and you're wondering how and who knew that you had that bag. Well, the individuals knew simply because they were watching you the whole time. You went in the store, they watched you come out, and sometimes you just don't even have any idea. Individuals working these stores a lot of times are in cahoots with other individuals that are committing these crimes. Hey, hey, I just sold her a $7,000 this or that. You'd be surprised. I mean, it's very rare that the individuals work in the store, but it does happen. So nothing is impossible. My thing is be aware of your surroundings so you at least will have a heads up. You purchase something like that, as you walk to your vehicle or have somebody else with you, be aware of everything around you. If you see the same individual a couple of blocks as you walking away or you in another area and somehow the same individual that's out front of the store is in that area too, a red flag should go off in your head. Now, so that's why I'm saying if you're not paying attention, you're not going to even realize that that's the same individual that was in front of the store that's now by Foot Locker. But you're not paying attention to all that, so a lot of times you'll miss it. That's why I'm saying pay attention to your surroundings, because this is what happens a lot of times. And sometimes the individual that's watching you, as you walk off, they switch up. Somebody else picks you up and start walking with you, and the individual that was standing in front of the store on the phone, they no longer in the picture. Now you got somebody else walking that's going to actually commit the crime. So you're not thinking about anything like that because the person that was out front is no longer around. So why would you be suspicious of anything going on? Yeah, somebody's behind you walking, big deal. There's a lot of people behind you, but obviously you're not taking into consideration you just spent like $900 in the Apple store, maybe $1,500 in a high-end store that sells designer bags. You're not paying attention to your surroundings, and that's when you get caught slipping. A lot of times you're trying to figure out, but it just happens so quick. It happened so quick because it was well thought out and it's well planned. You didn't think about it. A lot of times you're distracted, you're happy, you just got a really nice bag, and it's gone just like that. So be aware of your surroundings and things of that nature, because it's not like they just snatching stuff. That's not how it always goes. It's a lot of thought put into it, and there's actually surveillance where they actually watch you go in the stores, watch what you come out with. Nobody's just randomly going to snatch a bag if they don't really know what it is. A lot of times this is planned out. So that's something I say take into consideration. I got some more things on here too. Parking lots, that's another issue. People go to these garages or parking lots to the mall. You got police there, and they're a lot of times patrolling the perimeter, meaning they're going on the outside of the mall. They're not really riding up and down the lot. They just going all around in a circle. You got the security with the yellow flashing lights. For the most part, they're doing the same. They're not getting out of the vehicle. So if you go to a mall and you park and you have all your items in the vehicle, because most people unfortunately go to these malls and they put the bags right in the back seat, depending on if the trunk is overcrowded. You just throw them in the back seat. You're not thinking about that. And not only that, if you do put them in the trunk, sometimes you have individuals watching. You don't know who's paying attention to you. And most people doing crunch time, or not necessarily even crunch time, they go from store to store. So eventually that trunk fills up. And some people just don't do the trunk thing. Their bags are in close proximity to them. They're in the rear seat. So you park your vehicle at another mall or another location, all your bags in the back. You run inside. You're not thinking about where you park. You're not really taking that into a whole lot of consideration. Well, maybe I shouldn't have parked so far. I park where I can get the first good space. Here's a space. It's all the way on the other end of the lot. I don't have to worry about nobody dinging my vehicle. I'll take the walk, but you didn't even think about all your packages in the back visible. So you go into the mall. Nobody is going to go into the mall and for the most part and come right back out. So individuals are often patrolling parking lots just like security. You may have a group of females who obviously sometimes don't look suspicious. They're riding around, maybe two of them, and maybe four, whatever. It doesn't look suspicious. You figure they just, looking for a parking space like everybody else. That's not the case. Sometimes these individuals are actually patrolling the lot to look and see whose vehicles have bags in it, and they're making a phone call. Got a black Toyota Camry parked at so-and-so, lot 7. They have numerous bags in the back. They relaying that information to the individuals that's going to actually break into the vehicle, and they're constantly moving on to the next location. So this individual that's obviously going to commit the crime rolls up. A lot of times, a screwdriver's used, or a spark plug or something like that. These don't make a lot of noise when you hit a window with it. Not at all. It's not something that's going to be heard. It's not going to be a loud noise. Smack that window out, get into that vehicle. A lot of times they're not opening doors, so the alarm is not going off. They're pulling the bags and things like that right out of the vehicle. Some individuals have actually been captured on video putting like a coat or blanket over the windowsill so they don't get cut or glass, a heavy duty blanket, like a lot of times you would see an individual in a garage, or working a mechanic type of blanket. Lay across it, grab everything. They got the latex rubber gloves on so they don't leave prints. Grab those bags, jump in that vehicle, and keep getting up. Now, obviously, you got lots of surveillance, you got lots of cameras, but in most cases, they got the mask on. A lot of times, you got individuals not wearing the regular mask that you would wear if you go in the store, the surgical mask. These individuals have ski masks on. At one time, you couldn't come in the store with that type of stuff on. Now, it's mandatory a lot of times, depending on where you are, that you put a mask on, which is, that's a whole nother story. But the individuals take off a lot of times. The tags and all that's captured on video. But guess what? The vehicle's stolen. Once that vehicle is out of the area, they park that vehicle and get into something else and keep it moving. So, be aware of where you park. Parking garages, for example. A lot of times you park in a hotel parking lot or a garage to a mall. If you don't give them the keys, in most cases, for example, if you're valet parking, depending on the circumstance, they're responsible for your items if they are actually stolen, because they have control of your vehicle. Now, I believe that's the case. If you take your keys with you, they obviously are not responsible. That's just pretty much like, for the most part, parking on a public street. But when you valet park, they are responsible to a certain degree, because they have actually control of your vehicle. Now, in most cases, if your vehicle is broken into in a garage, whether you left the keys with them or if you took the keys, they don't really want you to make a report, because even if your insurance company is not going to cover it, it's a strike against them, because so many reports of theft from that garage is going to put their insurance in a whole nother area as far as what they pay. So they don't really want that. So of course they'll put the signs up that says, we're not responsible for your items. If you're theft, we're not responsible for this. Please take your items with you. Of course, that's a nice deterrent and all that, but they would prefer you not generate a report or call the police. Call the police regardless if you are the victim of that. They also have valet individuals, a lot of times, believe it or not, are in on it. I've had situations where I've taken reports where individuals that were traveling had all of their Christmas presents stolen from the trunk of the vehicle. Now, who in a hotel is going to know that there are packages in the trunk of a vehicle? Obviously, if you got valet parking and you've released your keys to this individual, guess what? They popped your trunk. Nobody randomly knew what was in the trunk. And they do this. They can't really prove it that that's the individual, because the individuals know where the cameras are. They can always take your vehicle somewhere before they take it up to the garage and have somebody take the items out. But this was a situation where the actual packages weren't even visible. So come on, it's pretty much obvious. Can't prove they did it, but somebody on the inside has something to do with all the packages being stolen. Hotels, a lot of times, you have individuals working that's just shady. You don't know these individuals. You give your keys to these individuals. You let them park your vehicle, whether it be a hotel, a fine restaurant, what have you. Check your vehicle for damage when you get your vehicle back. A lot of people don't do that. You're giving your vehicle to somebody, you have no knowledge of their driving history. You have no knowledge if they can drive a truck. You don't even know if they really have a driver's license. So I always recommend, if you do valet park, check your vehicle for for damage. And if you really want to get technical, a lot of people are not going to do this, but before you get out of that vehicle, write down the mileage of that vehicle. Write down your mileage, because it's been a known fact. Some individuals, depending on if you got a nice car, some of the valet parkers have been known to take individuals joyriding, doing all types of stupid stuff, speeding up and down the street. You know, these things happen. I would recommend writing the mileage down. If you're not really comfortable doing that, that's on you, but it doesn't take a second to jot that mileage down. And when you get back, walk around the whole vehicle, check for damage. Because once you leave and you get home or get to another location, that's damage that's on you. You're not going to be able to prove they did, hey, you left the parking lot. That didn't happen here. Although you know it happened there, but you never checked the vehicle before you pulled off. You got home, you realized your bumper smashed in. Yes, you missed it. You got in the vehicle, you gave them a tip, and you kept it moving. So take that into consideration. A lot of times, you know, you valet parking, or whether you're not valet parking, you drive through, you get the ticket, you got a guy that's standing in the booth. He's not giving tickets or taking you to stand in the booth, but you got all your packages in there. He sees this, and you'd be surprised at some of the individuals that just are in on it. They make a phone call, hey, you know, we got an individual just came in on this, and so-and-so, they parked on level so-and-so. I can see him on camera. Or you'd be surprised, and these things happen, and the individuals end up being on camera, but no one ever knows the valet person at the booth was in on it. For them, they just think it was just a random theft from auto. Individuals in the garage broke into the vehicle. No, the individual at the ticket booth saw the packages in the back and made a phone call. Obviously, he knows what security is. He knows, hey, look, you know, you got about an hour to break in the vehicle and what have you. You know, and obviously when they come to him, you know, he'll call the police and act like he's so concerned or she's so concerned. But a lot of times the individual's in on it all the time. That's happened numerous times. I mean, the bottom line is people are not always morally straight up and down. Some individuals are struggling. Yeah, they working. However, you know, if it's an opportunity there and they have a criminal mind, guess what? If you are a easy victim, that's just what you're going to be. So you have to take that into consideration. Every individual with these parking garages, parking booths, or what have you, you got to watch them. You go past and you got all your packages in the vehicle. They see this. It's an opportunity. Also, gas stations. A lot of individuals going to gas stations and, you know, you're looking for the cheapest gas, of course, but some people stop at a lot of random gas stations, no name, and you got a lot of gas stations like this that are known to have skimming devices on them. You know, a lot of your top name brand gas stations are not immune from it, but these gas stations a lot of times that are in the cut, away from everything, not a part of anything, don't have a store per se, you know, skimming things that are attached to these gas stations is often in some of those gas stations. And I know you want the cheapest gas. Gas is high. You're trying to get the best deal you can, but sometimes it's not worth it if you're just going to be skimmed or they're going to have your credit card information and what have you. Also, this hasn't happened to me in a while. I used to see it on a regular. If you've ever pumped gas and the numbers start rolling, whether it be digital or, you know, back in the day, the manual thing turning, and your gas doesn't start, but the numbers start before the gas starts pumping. That's a scam rather. The gas station is in on. You're actually being charged for gas you didn't receive. A lot of times you squeeze it and you see the numbers start turning, and then you hit a pump or you feel the pump kick, your gas starts. You basically may be hit for maybe 50 cents or $1. Depends on how fast those numbers are moving, and you didn't even get that gas yet. So, you know, it's a lot of scams going on like that. And also you got to take into consideration some of these gas stations, you got individuals hanging at the gas station, standing at the window when you go pay if that's what you have to do, or standing there offering to pump your gas, or panhandling for $1 or $2. It's not even worth going to a lot of times if you are female or maybe even a senior citizen, because a lot of times the individual that's asking you for the money is actually a lookout or a distractor, you know, to talk to you. And while you're doing that, somebody else may actually be entering your vehicle, getting your purse or your belongings. A lot of individuals, females, leave the purse in the vehicle. Obviously, if they're pumping gas, the vehicle is unlocked. You got an individual right further up with a gas pump inside of the inside of the vehicle. The pump is in the vehicle, but you notice, nobody's outside of the vehicle. There's few individuals, but they sitting in the vehicle. So you figure, no big deal. The gas is pumped. Maybe it's on auto. That's not the case. They're not pumping gas at all. They're just sitting there waiting for a victim. A lot of times, a person pull out, get out the vehicle, pumping gas, purse in the back, the door's open. A lot of times they'll crawl low, go around to that side of the vehicle that you're not on, open that door, the back door. You're not paying attention. Get your purse or whatever your personal belongings. Grab that, jump in the car, keep getting up. Throw that pump on the ground, keep moving. By the time you realize what's happening, some people don't realize at all. They don't realize it at all until they happen to look and this stuff is gone. Like, wait a minute. I was just at the gas station. And obviously they reveal the footage. Review the footage of it. Your vehicle was in it. And the thing is, the tags are often captured on video. The individual's got this ski mask on. You can't identify them. And also, you got to take into consideration the vehicle stolen in most cases. So what? You got a tag number. You just put that car down in another area of the city and they in something else. Now you got to go through the motion of canceling all your credit cards, getting a report, because then they're not, in most cases, going to give you a new ID on any of that work ID or whatever types of credentials you had in there. You got to start all over again. And that's a pain, because a lot of that stuff you're not going to be able to do online. You're going to have to go in person from one spot to another and take care of it. And it can be avoided. Sometimes you have to spend a little money, more money to go to a gas station a little bigger. You might not have those problems. It might be law enforcement in the area, what have you, a large presence of people, which doesn't mean that you won't be a victim. Obviously, there's no real respect for law enforcement, and it's a scarce amount of law enforcement officers actually on the street, which is something I'll get into on another video. That's something I'm going to go heavy into. So you got to take into consideration also people don't pay attention to some of the situations when their car's running. Now, if you have the vehicle, obviously, with you can take the keys with you. Excuse me. Take your keys with you, and the car's still running. Obviously, if the vehicle, somebody jump in the vehicle and pull off, they're not going to get it so far. And I understand, especially during winter months, individuals often leave the car running, get out. Some people actually get out and go in the store, which I've seen now, which is crazy. But you get out, you got a child in the back. I understand. You don't want to turn the car off because you don't want the child to get cold. Trust me. If you turn that car off for that brief period of time, yes, depending on if it's 20 degrees, the child is going to get cold. But I'd rather the child get cold for that brief period of time rather than you try to leave that car running and somebody jump in that vehicle. And if you have the key where the car can't be driven forward without it cutting off, you still got your child inside. Which technically, when this happens, you really are it's kind of a negligent situation. You know what I'm saying? You got your key, but you left your car running, and you're not supposed to leave the vehicle running. You're not supposed to do it. It's still running unattended. You're not in the vehicle. So it's actually a violation. A lot of people don't, get hemmed up behind that, because most law enforcement officers have some compassion and don't write you a ticket for that. Obviously, you've been through a traumatic situation. The individual took off, your child, your newborn was in the back. But that's a situation that could have been prevented if you had just turned the vehicle off, hit that remote, locked those doors, pumped your gas, and kept it moving. You have to be aware of your environment and individuals. If you see an individual just standing around, panhandling or whatever, yeah, he may look homeless or what have you, but a lot of times these individuals are the lookout. They're the intelligence. They're the individuals that walk up to you. As they walk up, they're looking in your vehicle. You know what I'm saying? He might ask you for $1, but he's making a conscious effort to see what's in your vehicle. And it might be another individual working with him. A person in the back seat, person on the floor. You know what I'm saying? So you have to use some common sense and discretion when you go to these gas stations. It's not necessarily Uh, no name gas station where you're gonna be a victim. It's not necessarily top flight gas station, where you won't be a victim. So it really depends. It's happening at Costco. You know what I'm saying? And Costco is an extremely heavy flow of people, but you have individuals that go there a lot of times not paying attention, and it has happened. Individuals have took purses, and the thing is with the Costco in Washington D.C., if you're familiar with that area, during the holidays this happens periodically. And they normally have some good service guys working, and they normally walking around, but the bottom line is they're not law enforcement, they're not a deterrent. The security that drives around with the flashing lights don't even come for the most part to the gas station side. They more or less on the other side of Costco. Now, should this happen to you at Costco, you jump right on 50 and you could be in the upper part of the city before the police actually even get to that location. So you got a purse. Of course, there's a lookout for the vehicle once the police review the video footage, or if maybe somebody sees the tag number. Good luck on the individual staying at the pump to get the police the information or even sharing it with you. Most people don't want to be involved and want no parts of it. So even if they saw something, they didn't see something. So good luck with that, because you jump right on 50. You can be back in Virginia or wherever you go within 15 minutes, depending on how the traffic is flowing. And obviously, MPD has to make a notification to maybe Park Police or Virginia once they get that vehicle's information to be on the lookout. By the time they actually transfer all that information, the individuals have ditched their car and gotten in something else and are actually at home or somebody's location going through the contents of the purse, and that's basically an easy one. What else I got going on here? Talked about children inside of the vehicle, which is something you should never do, but parents do it, and that's something that's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen over the holidays. I hate to say it, but no matter how much it happens, and know how many times they put on the news, somebody's still gonna leave the baby in the back and pump that gas and leave the vehicle running because it's just too cold. Or it might not be no baby or no child in the back. The individual is just not going to turn the car because it's too cold. They don't want to be cold. So rather lose your vehicle and go through the changes of putting that in a report that the keys were in ignition and running, which is obviously unattended, and you got to deal with your insurance company and go through the motions trying to get a rental car and deal with all that nonsense when that could have been avoided. So also ATMs, individuals going to ATMs. Let's see, a lot of times people go to ATMs and they're not really paying attention. They don't look behind them. They don't look at the parking lot of the ATM, bank, or anything like that before they get there. Me personally, although I'm a concealed and carry licensed gun owner, I keep my gun with me for the most part everywhere I go. I'm not looking for any problems, but I'm prepared to deal with them should they come. You have to use some common sense. You go into the ATM or the most machine, whatever you want to call it. Nighttime, you're setting yourself up. Whatever it is, if you got to go at nighttime, if it can't wait till tomorrow, then whatever it is, you just don't need it. But even during the daytime hours, a lot of times some of your ATM robberies happen really early in the morning or sometimes at night. You got individuals that pretty much park or monitor those areas. They might not necessarily even be on the lot, but any vehicle that has somebody in it, you probably should just go to another location. I see individuals all the time, periodically, when I'm going to make a deposit through the machine, daytime hours, I see somebody walk up to the machine, get out of their car because they're scared they're going to scrape the vehicle up between the poles or what have you. They're not really confident in driving up to it. And they don't even look around. You constantly putting money in the machine or putting your card in. You don't take a look around to see who's watching. You don't take a look around to see who's walking up on you. You're pretty much asking to be a victim. Pay attention to that parking lot when you drive through that lot, first of all. See who's sitting there. If you got individuals sitting there and it just don't look right, go to another location. Because a lot of times individuals are just sitting there. Basically, they know you either going to make a deposit or you're going to take some money out. Very few people go to that machine just to check to see what their balance is, because you can do that on the phone or online. So you got to use some common sense. You go to these machines, you are a target. And it's just a matter of time whether or not individuals roll up on you or they don't. Because obviously, if you hit that machine, you getting some money or you putting some money in it. So use a little discretion when you go to these machines at night, or during the daytime. It doesn't have to be at night. Most people I would hope, try to avoid going at night, because if you go at night, you pretty much gambling. It's like spinning, almost playing Russian roulette. You go till 3 or 4 in the morning. There was just an older gentleman, I believe he was in, not what part of Maryland he was in, but a senior guy, 70 years old. I think he was on his way to work. Individual jumped out of, I believe, a stolen car. He gave him the money, and the individual still shot him and killed him. He didn't die right then and there on the scene, but he eventually succumbed to his injuries in the hospital. So my thing is, even if you give up the money, which you can always give back, it's a chance the individual's still gonna shoot you because they just don't care. You know what I'm saying? You got individuals out here that don't really have nothing to lose, or in their mind they don't have nothing to lose. Even if you give up your goods, it's a chance they could still shoot you. So take all that into consideration when you go to these banks during the day. And if you don't go during the day, even at night or what have you, be aware of your surroundings and scan the lot. If you see cars parked or maybe a vehicle parked, unattended, it's nobody in it, and it looks kind of odd, it's a chance some individuals might be near, or if the vehicle is running, you can't really see inside. That could be the getaway car. Somebody might be laying on the other side of the machine and pop right out on you, and put a gun to your head. You know, what can you do? Also, individuals often pull right back to the rear of the vehicle that's in front of. Now, obviously, somebody jump out on you. You can't even go around them because you right up on the bumper to the other vehicle that's in line to move up. So, you know, I always tell individuals, if you're in line, give them a little space before you roll right up on that other vehicle, because you just don't know. And also, you don't know if the individual in that vehicle may be the one that's going to rob. He might throw that thing and park, jump out, come straight to you with the gun pointing at your vehicle. Where you going? Where you going if it's another vehicle behind you, first of all? And not only that, if you don't have enough room to maneuver around it, and not saying that that's necessarily the move, you know, for the most part, what are you going to do? You know? It's a tricky situation, man, but you have to be aware of your surroundings. A lot of people they just roll into these banks and think nothing of it. I see them come out of the bank a lot of times just looking in space, looking in the sky. Okay, you just came out of the bank. Some people actually come out with the money envelope in their hand. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, use some common sense, especially senior citizens. And a lot of senior citizens move a little slow, you know what I'm saying, with something we all will end up doing if we live long enough. I'm going to move slow. Shit, I'm moving slow right now, depending on the time of day, depending on how I'm feeling. But my thing is, a lot of times senior citizens are targeted at banks or individuals with disabilities. You're at a bank, oh yeah, this individual got a walker, what have you, first of the month. You know, a lot of times I recommend individuals holding off before they make their bank transactions, if you can, until that first of the month, or, you know, crowd dies down, because that's when they know, for the most part, individuals are coming. Some individuals actually have to, you know, make some transactions in the bank and do things that are not able to do these things online, or not computer savvy to do it by phone. So, you know, you have a lot of people that are not necessarily struggling with disabilities. They just don't feel comfortable doing the things online or by the phone. Some of the older folks like to go into the banks and be hands-on. They like to get that money in their hand, cash, count that money out, which is cool, but, you know, it's a different time and a different era there. And I'd rather see them learn or have a loved one that they can trust do this, rather than taking advantage, take a situation of being robbed, you know, or being possibly killed just because they are comfortable going inside the bank. It's just not worth it, you know. So take that into consideration. Also, burglary. This is going to sound, this may be something that you may be aware of, and you may not. And like I said before, if you are aware of some of these situations, cool. If you're not, it's even better. Pass it on to somebody else. Forward the video. Burglary is a big thing. It's nonstop, first of all, but of course during these months, you know, you See individuals doing Christmas shopping. You see individuals posting all types of things that they have received or they went and got, or they're showing it on social media. Hey, I got my husband this watch. He's going to be so surprised. And a lot of times you post these things and people are watching, and everybody is not necessarily happy for it. You got some individuals that you may even know that will plot your downfall or plot your burglary because you posted, hey, we're going to be out of town, so-and-so, or on Facebook, so-and-so just checked in Ruth Chris restaurant. Okay, if an individual knows where you live and you just checked in Ruth Chris, and for the most part, you got your whole family with you, they got time to burglarize your house or get in your house and get out. Now, obviously, you got some form of security system. I don't even want to talk about the response time for the police because it's not going to come out as a crime in progress. It's going to come off as a burglar alarm. Burglar alarms are a lot of times code 2. That means that the individuals responding are not coming with the siren and lights on. It's not in progress. We get there when we get there. And trust me, that might mean, that might mean 30 minutes or an hour. It depends on where they're coming from or what happens in between going to that alarm, if they get flagged down for something else. So you have to use a little common sense with what you post, who you talk to about what you got. You got to be a little cautious on who you talk to and tell people about the items you got. Everybody is not happy for you. Everybody is not necessarily smiling with you. You know what I'm saying? You have individuals that you might have grew up with, you might know well. A lot of these individuals will scheme on you in a heartbeat and not necessarily commit the crime themselves, but speak on to somebody else. And a lot of times, not even knowing that the individual's going to do this, oh man, so-and-so got a $1,600 watch, for a husband, so-and-so, and where they going out of town, so-and-so. You'd be surprised. The bottom line is, all I'm saying is, use a little discretion, a little common sense when you are making moves and who you talk to and what you post on social media. They had a situation and you may not be aware of it, and maybe, obviously you're going to see all this stuff on the media. Sometimes things that just get past the media and they don't even talk about it. They had a burglar that was actually using obituaries to actually commit burglaries. What they were doing was following funeral processions, through the newspaper or pretty much going online, looking at when the funeral is, and obviously you have loved ones addressing, flowers can be sent to this location or what have you. Knowing on the day of a funeral, that's a long day, for a loved one. In most cases, there's not going to be anybody home for a long period of time. You're going to the funeral, and 9 times out of 10, if it's a immediate family, you're going to be at the funeral or church or funeral home early. And then not only that, you got the actual funeral starting in the church. Then after that, you got to go to the cemetery. Then after that, you go to a repast. And it's going to be a long period of time. But they had individuals actually burglarize their homes and using obituaries as the resource to kind of have an idea when people were leaving and coming. I mean, that's an all-time low to burglarize somebody's house and use the obituary, for the intelligence. But it happens. I can't make this stuff up. These are things that actually happen. But, individuals also post these things online. You got people that go out of the country, live real time, post a day in the Bahamas. Now, obviously, might have a time frame. You're going to be there for maybe 7 days. You got the whole actually social media, whoever you're friends with, and anybody else, they notice you out of the country. So they got time to go hit your house. And a lot of individuals, if you're going to do that, post it after you come back. It's live. You want everybody to know you over there right off the break. That's cool and all, but it's the same thing if you posted the week you back. Why post it and set yourself up and nobody's home at your house and you basically on a cruise or what have you? And as a matter of fact, the crazy thing is, we've had individuals that are on the police department that were stupid enough, and I say it, stupid enough to post pictures on a cruise and they were on sick leave. Social media Obviously, everybody's on social media, and a lot of times what individuals don't know, especially within law enforcement, internal affairs, which monitors a lot of the misconduct of police and what have you, they actually befriend you on your page a lot of times when there's uh, like let's say for example, there's somebody that basically slipped them some type of note. Hey, I think you might want to look into this. This guy is not right. I think he's doing something dirty. They will investigate things like that. All it takes is somebody to reach out to them and tell them. And the thing is, they often befriend officers, and they're actually internal affairs officers. And you accept the friendship, not knowing who this individual is. You have no clue. All you know is you've accepted somebody. Hey, they send a friend request, so you befriended them. And it's not just law enforcement. People do it every day. You accept friends, and you don't even know these people. But I'm not on social media as far as Facebook or nothing like that for the most part. So it's not that kind of situation. And then what little I do use, it's not for those purposes. I'm not posting things real time if I'm out of the country or nothing like that. Got a little more common sense than that. But the thing is, as I was saying with the internal affairs, we've had individuals that were supposedly on sick leave, and went. Obviously, if you're on sick leave, you're not supposed to leave the area. These individuals not only left the area, they left the country. Now, the next thing you know, you posting live pictures, you on a jet ski. How are you on a jet ski when you just called in sick, a couple of days ago? Now, obviously, internal affairs a lot of times befriend these individuals. They monitor these things. And the next thing you know, you jammed up. You got to explain that when they play that video. But common sense, use some discretion when you do these things. Also, with the burglary situation, I recommend get timers. A lot of times people don't want to do the timer thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about if you're not home on a regular basis. Do it anyway because you don't want to become predictable. Some individuals come home the same time every day. Some individuals leave the same time every day. Some people have houses pitch black, no porch lights on, no lights whatsoever. I understand sometimes you're trying to keep that electric bill down, what have you, but what good is the electric bill if you're inviting an individual to kick in your window or your door because it's pitch black in there and the lights are never on for the most part? It almost looks abandoned. Get you some timers. They're dirtball cheap. You can get them from Amazon or any local hardware store. Shouldn't even say an Amazon. It's not like they're paying me to endorse them, but everybody uses Amazon for some, so it really doesn't matter. And the money they're making, it doesn't matter whether I endorse them or not. They're going to get theirs. But the timers are dirtball cheap. You set your timer for random, and a lot of times individuals don't know who's in there. You know what I'm saying? If the lights coming on and going off certain times, and even with me being a gun owner, I have timers. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. Well, I'm up. A lot of times I'm just up, from working a midnight shift for 29 years straight. I don't sleep at night. Half the time I do these videos, it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But the thing is, you need those timers. And sometimes my timer start on me. Next thing I know, I'm watching TV and a light pop on, then it goes off. It doesn't cost a whole lot to do this. You may prevent yourself from being a victim of burglary. I encourage people, don't come home the same way or the same time every day. If you're walking or what have you, depending even if you commute, do something different. Park in a different area. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into routines. When you get into routines, you become predictable. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I know you get used to getting up at a certain time, leaving at a certain time, coming home at a certain time, doing this at a certain time. You are predictable at that point. So individuals, a lot of times, even your neighbors, know when you come home. They know when you leave. And sometimes you got good neighbors, but sometimes you got neighbors that have individuals come over. They might tell you, like, hey, what's going on? Who live in the house? They say, oh, man, so they work. They always at work. Now, to the neighbor has no intention on doing anything criminal, but that guy he just told that you always at work. You're a single dude, man. I think he drive a bus. He never home, He works a whole lot. To that individual he just told, you don't know what his mentality is. You just have no idea. So some people you have to be cautious of also what you talk to people about, whether you tell them your schedules, things like that. Just use some discretion, a little common sense, because some individuals, you'd be surprised, whether or not they're necessarily plotting for your demise or plotting to commit a crime against you, or unknowingly telling somebody that actually is looking for the opportunity to commit a crime, and they don't even realize. I just told this guy never home, and this guy said, man, just thinking to myself, I need to holler at my brother and them, man. They can go in that house and get paid. This dude is never home. Now, obviously, the neighbor doesn't know that they plotting, but he just told them all your information because you told your neighbor, man, I work so much, man, I ain't never got time. I don't even get to enjoy my house, but that's something you told your neighbor, and your neighbor leaked it out to this dude, and then this dude them scheming, or he told somebody else. You'd be surprised. That's all I'm saying. A lot of people think, oh, that's crap, I don't buy into all that. Well, it's happened. It has actually happened. I'm not speaking from something that I made. Everything that I'm talking about is something that I've actually experienced over the 29 years, or something that's happened to somebody that I know. It's not no make-believe. I'm just trying to enlighten some people so that they don't get caught up or become victims of situations. That's why I say forward it to somebody, even if most of the stuff I'm talking about And if I say something that you're not aware of, by all means, man, hit the thumbs up and send it to somebody else. Because like I said, I'm going to be discussing a whole lot of other topics as well, from police misconduct to all types of stuff. How to contest a ticket, how to interact with police, what not to say to police, how to make a complaint, things like that, which a lot of people complain about the police. And when I encourage individuals like, where the police talk to you like that, what did you do? Oh, I ain't do nothing. I ain't want to get involved. And it wasn't going nowhere, no ways. It wasn't going nowhere, but you just said that the police did this to you. You don't want to make a complaint? I'll show you how to do it. Nah, man, that ain't even worth it. Ain't nothing going to happen no way. Dude, I'll show you how to make the complaint. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I'm not on the police side. I'm not on the citizen side. I play neutral. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. You know what I'm saying? So you can't complain if you're not willing to even take the time to make a complaint. A lot of times I hear individuals talk this crap, or I hate police and all that. I'm like, okay, what happened? Man, they locked me up. What they lock you up for? My license was suspended. Okay, well, what you think was going to happen? But that's a whole nother topic. I ain't going into that one yet. Traveling. A lot of times people travel during the holidays. Now, I got to tell you, everybody's not flying. Some people are actually getting in vehicles and they're going to make that road trip. If you're going to do a road trip, I advise people, don't pack your vehicle during the daytime and then pull off. If you can, pack your vehicle at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying leave suitcases and things of that nature exposed in your back seat. Pack your vehicle at night, and when you are ready to leave, for the most part, you got a few bags. Nobody can really tell you going on a road trip if you got maybe a few bags or shopping bags where you put in the car and pull off. Nobody should know, and I don't even care if it's your neighbors. Nobody should know that you actually leaving for a couple of days or a week. Excuse me. Unless you sincerely trust those neighbors. And even then, it's not so much about trusting those neighbors. It's about what are those neighbors going to tell others. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like I said before, you might tell a neighbor, hey, look, we're going for a week or whatever. Keep your eye on the house. Sometimes that's cool, but it depends on the neighbor. Everybody and every neighbor is not worthy of giving that information to. You got some shady individuals. You may live a good life. You may have some very nice materialistic things, and the neighbor beside you might be struggling. And on the inside, you may not notice, but they like, man, I can't stand that MF. Nice car, always dressed nice, but they smile in your face. Hey, how you doing? Every time they say, oh, you look nice. Hey, But once they go in the house, man, that MF, I wish, You know what I'm saying? So you don't know. All I say, use discretion, use common sense. Everybody is not smiling for your joy. A lot of people are smiling, but on the inside, they hating every move you make. So use that as some common sense. And also, what else we got here? I think I discussed earpieces. And I emphasize that a lot of times people walking around with these earpieces on, they doing the shopping and things. Like I said, please take at least one off, so you can at least hear what's coming. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to hear somebody running up on you before you get smacked in the head or robbed. At least you have an opportunity to at least turn around. Because waking up in the hospital and not being able to tell the police what happened is really a crazy. It's gonna be a crazy feeling. I'm not saying you're being deceptive, but if you get hit in the head and get knocked out, and you never saw it coming. What can you tell the police? You woke up and the ambulance and the paramedics are standing over you, asking you what happened. So take one of the paws out of your ear if you can. You know what I'm saying? If you are doing some shopping, for the most part. And like I said before, please watch the news. You're gonna see some of the most violent crimes and things going on this particular Black Friday because people have been shut down, and it's gonna be wild. And there's a lot of people out here that are actually hungry for the opportunity to get things that obviously they can't afford to get. You know what I'm saying? So why be the victim if you don't have to be? So I say use some common sense, pay attention to your surroundings. It's going to be extremely violent. It's already starting. Pay attention, watch TV, check the news out. They're not going to tell you all this stuff that I'm telling you, but you at least watch it. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff may be usable, but I try to give you the things that you're not going to see on the news. Also, they are targeting senior citizens. So if you got a grandmother or a mother that's somewhat still functional, where they can actually get around and do things, it's hard talking to them sometimes because they get in their own ways and stubborn or what have you. Have them pay attention to their surroundings, and if you can, try to look out for them the best you can, because a lot of times, they take out their debit cards, and a lot of times they're moving a little slower than we would like them to move, especially, if they driving or what have you. And often individuals see this, they the perfect victim. I ain't got to worry about her fighting back before I can even get home for the most part. She may not even realize her purse is gone. You know what I'm saying? Or you snatch a purse, you're not going to have no whole lot of resistance. Now, you may cause the individual to have a heart attack, but these individuals don't care nothing about that. And a lot of the older people don't carry, they're not into the whole debit card thing. A lot of these individuals carry money and things like that because they're old school. So you have to take into consideration, you got an older individual, senior citizen, a mother. Try to look out for them if you can. If they want to go shopping, some of them still like to go shopping. They not really into the whole online thing. I live online, but if they like to go shopping, try to go with them or send somebody with them. Don't let them go in these stores and get taken advantage of, or you know what I'm saying. A lot of times they put their persons in their carts and things like that. They may turn away for a minute and look at some clothes and things like. Next thing you know, their purse gone, or somebody reached in and got the wallet or whatever. And that's a lot to deal with. To have to basically renew all that stuff. That's a lot to deal with. So if you can, go with the individual if they're a little up in age, even if they are proficient when they drive and do all that stuff. If you can, try to go out with them, because it would be a hell of a feeling getting that notification of the police calling you, trying to track you down, trying to tell you, hey, look, we need you to come to GW Hospital or whatever hospital as soon as possible. Got a mother or it's in the hospital in critical condition. We don't know if she's going to make it. It's possible that she even had a medical emergency, or right now we got detectives looking at it. It's possible that she was assaulted. Nobody knows what happened. She can't speak because she's basically unconscious with a head injury. But her purse is missing. Now, this individual was pretty coherent, and now all of a sudden they're in the hospital and possibly with a life-threatening injury. That's not what happened. They didn't just actually have a medical injury if they are severely injured, clothes, disarray or what have you. So, you don't want to be in that situation like, damn, I should have went with her, but I ain't even feel like going. I got tired, or she wanted me to go in all these stores. It's sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, because the individuals in most cases did for you when you couldn't do for yourself. So make time for them, because it's a hell of a feeling when you gotta make that phone call. I made that phone call many times to individuals that not necessarily neglected their folks, but people had just passed, and it's nothing like making a notification to tell somebody that's in another state that their mother has passed, and you gotta search for phone numbers and trying to find out, man, who is this individual's relatives, going through the whole house, and you got a dead mother in the bedroom that's passed the natural causes, and you don't even know who to call because it's no contact. It's really a traumatic situation. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up. If it's some things that I can discuss or things that people are not aware of, put something in the comments. And like I said, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. My skin is tough. I can take it either way. But I would forward it to some individuals that are physically going out to do some shopping. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to physically be out there in them streets, send it to somebody. Send it to whoever you know, because it's something I know I discussed that most people are just not aware of, especially the individuals that are targeting high-end stores. Now, of course, you've seen on the news where about 15, 30, 40 individuals run into the Gucci store or the Ferragamo store and snatch a bunch of purses. Obviously, that's not going to affect you. That does happen. Now, a lot of times, unless you're a Ferragamo owner or the store, what happened, they got insurance. A lot of times, in those cases, they actually give more, how can I say this? They actually, for report writing purposes, they'll tell you more things were stolen than they actually were, and they get a major payout insurance-wise. You know what I'm saying? But as a law enforcement officer, you're not in no position to tell them, nah, there's no way they stole all that. You give me the value of the price, and you tell me 70 bags were stolen. Some of these bags were priced at $8,000. All I can do is put the cost you gave me down. That's between you and the insurance company, but that's not necessarily going to affect you as a consumer. Of course, it's probably going to affect you in the prices. You know, they might stick them prices up in air, but on the same note, they got insurance to cover that. So that's not really a big deal. And a lot of times, it's not a whole lot you can do when 15, 20, 30 individuals run into a Gucci store and everybody grab a bag. It's ways to combat that, and that's a whole nother subject. I'm not going into that, but I'm talking about individuals being victims and things of that nature when you go out to these stores and individuals are watching you go in the stores, watching what you buy. And some individuals will actually follow you in the store, not necessarily following you where you notice it, but they're looking at items as well. But they're also perpetrating like they may be buying stuff and they may be dressed extremely well. A lot of times when you dressed extremely well or you look professional, you're not going to draw as much attention. These are individuals that are actually watching you and you don't even realize. Watch the purse you purchase. Watch where you're going. Watch the car you in it. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, you wonder, how did somebody snatch this bag as I was walking to my car? The individual was in the store, was watching the whole time, made a phone call to the individuals that were in the area in the car. One of the dudes jumped out of the car, one of the females. You know, crime is an equal opportunity career. Female jumped out, snatched your purse, or jumped out and asked you where a certain store was, and another guy ran past and snatched your bag, and she's screaming all the time. She was in on it just to distract you. You don't even realize it. Hey, she'll even actually assist you with calling the police or whatever, and hey, you know, give a fake lookout or a false lookout. Hey, well, I saw them. This is what they had on, or so and so. Obviously, you too traumatized to really realize what happened. This individual is giving a lookout totally from a totally opposite of who the individuals are to lead the police basically on a goose chase. You know, they might have been in a Crown Vic. She's gonna say they were in a Toyota Camry. You know what I'm saying? These things happen. These things happen. But like I said before, you're going out Black Friday. If you're physically going to do some shopping, please use discretion and some common sense, because it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a serious problem. If you don't believe me, just watch the news. I'm just trying to see that if you are watching this, that you don't be a victim of the problem. Because some, unfortunately, are going to be victims because they're going to be a little careless. You're going to be a little relaxed. You haven't been out there in a minute. And it's common. It's common to be relaxed and let your hair down. You let your guard down. It happens. Especially if you're in a fine shopping area or, you know what I'm saying, you're in a decent area, which that's a whole nother subject. A lot of times people say, well, you know, I thought this was a nice mall, or there's no such thing. The only safe place or safe area is in your mind. And that's basically what I'm saying is it's in your imagination. There's no such place. It doesn't exist. People used to ask me all the time, is it safe to go to this place at night? Is it safe to do this? Absolutely not. As far as common sense wise, be aware of your surroundings. You can't say that it's safe to walk this place or go this place because in reality it's not. I don't have to tell you that $1 million homes have been broken into, and we're talking gunpoint. We're talking people being strong armed, tied up, things of that nature. So it can happen to anybody. So there's no such thing as a safe place. Not even if you are a gun owner. It can happen. Somebody can come in at any given time. You might think you're safe because you have a gun, but what good is having a gun? Or, for example, a licensed gun owner if you don't have that gun accessible at the time the individuals kick your door in or what have you. So you have to use common sense, and there's no such thing as a safe place. That's all in your imagination. But use common sense and try to think, is there anything else that I missed before I sign off? I don't think so. But if it's something that somebody might have a question on, put it in the comments. Ask me directly. I will respond. If it's like I said, put the thumbs down if you don't like what I had to say. I'm just trying to prevent individuals from being victims, because like you said, it's nothing worse than working hard for your items and you go and spend your coins to try to make somebody's Christmas or make your own Christmas, and you come back to your vehicle and your trunk is old, man. All the Christmas items you purchased are gone. Some people have Christmas funds where it's money taken out of their check all through the year, and then that's everything. That's their whole Christmas savings, where they don't have to spend no money as far as coming out of their check or what have you. It's already been put to the side for this holiday. And then you got one particular incident where all their items are gone and they got to start all over again. You know what I'm saying? So don't put yourself in that position if you can help it. And I'm going to sign out. And we'll be talking about some more stuff as far as making police complaints, contesting tickets, the whole defund the police movement. I'll go into all that, and that's a whole lot of other topics. But I wanted to get this one out there because it's going to be a lot of victims, and I'm trying to educate some individuals so that they just don't go out there like super paranoid. If you're going to go out there, all I'm saying is be aware of your surroundings and use discretion. And think about some of the things I said as far as individuals, when you come out some of these stores or when you're in some of these stores, pay attention to some of these people in the stores. You know, you got an individual in the store that don't have nothing or just kind of looking like they don't belong, or like, man, somehow this joke is always in my vicinity. You know what I'm saying? I was just at this Foot Locker, then this joke in Macy's. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's no coincidence. Sometimes it is coincidence. Individuals shopping just like you. But all I'm saying is pay attention, because if you don't pay attention, it's a lot of stuff you're going to miss. And then the next thing you know, you'll be a victim. You'll be like trying to figure out, did I miss something? Or, you know, well, there was a female that was always on the phone the whole time. You know, when I went into this store, it was a female out front on the phone. I wonder if 9 times out of 10, she did. But I'm going to sign off and forward it to somebody else. Give it some thought. Think about it. Pay attention to your surroundings. You go in these stores. Look at these people that are in the stores and pay attention to the things that are outside the stores as far as the vehicles parked. If you got cars just sitting there idle, individuals in the cars, you know, just pay attention to it, because they're going to be out there. And if you watch the news, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gone.